Rushdown, one of the most common archetypes in fighting games. I love them, you love them, everybody I know loves to at least occasionally jump behind the wheel of a Rushdown character. But what is the Rushdown archetype? We usually are able to identify if a character is of the Rushdown archetype just by seeing them, but what actually defines the archetype? Is it a character that can aggressively knock down opponents over and over again with the same flowchart? That's technically set play. Is it a character who has a ton of plus frames that stops you from pressing buttons? Not always. The best way I can describe a Rushdown character without using any fighting game jargon is that when playing against them, they should feel like a swarm of gnats on a Philadelphian summer day. Annoying, always in your face, and like God has a personal vendetta against you. Rushdown characters are all generally about two different things, mobility and pressure. So let's talk about them. Now, when I say mobility, I'm not always talking about specials that move you across the screen in some fashion, like Virgil's teleport or Giovanna's travail. Mobility refers to all movement aspects, such as base walk speed, how fast their run or dash is, jump angles. For example, Corrine Kansuki in Street Fighter V has an extremely oppressive walk speed. It's so fast that she's basically unhindered by fireball spam, even if she doesn't jump. Of course, specials with movement tied to them are generally tied to Rushdown characters. Dive kicks, tatsus, teleports, specials that cross up or leave you airborne. Mobility is an important part of the package when it comes to Rushdown, because more often than not, one of their biggest weaknesses is range. You see, because of their more often than not poor range, Rushdown characters are designed to do one big thing: closing the gap. Rushdown characters are formed around the concept of closing the gap between themselves and the opponent with their superior mobility, and once they're there, they're meant to stick to them, which is where pressure comes in. Pressure is described generally as a string of attacks that force your opponent to block, or they have to take a great risk to escape. This is where Rushdown characters truly shine. Oftentimes they have less pushback than other characters, and they also have hard to react to mix-ups. What kind of pressure a Rushdown character has varies from game to game, but commonly Rushdown characters will have ways to force a mix-up after or before a pressure string. The types of mix-ups can also vary, but the most core kind are high-low or strike-throw mix-ups. High-low stands for a mix-up where the opponent must either guess to stand block or crouch block, and strike-throw refers to when an opponent must either block or tech/jump a throw. Now, with their mobility and pressure, they must have some downsides to balance them out. We've already talked a bit about their bad range, but let's talk a bit more about the implications behind having that bad range. Having poor range generally entails poorer whiff punishment, as well as less effective poking. Unless they're in their opponent's face, Rushdown characters tend to have such a distinct and abusable disadvantage. Another downside is that generally Rushdown characters have poor defensive tools as well, such as not having an invincible reversal, poor keep away, or possibly lacking projectiles. Once they get locked down, it's very hard for them to escape, which is why personally I feel that players at a high level must have some of the strongest fundamentals to get a lot out of a Rushdown character. Of course, offense is extremely important, but inevitably you will have to play defense. And when you have to play defense, your fundamental skills is what's going to carry you in those situations. If you're looking to watch some great Rushdown gameplay, I suggest watching some of Lord Knight's Millia gameplay in either Exerd or Strive. Millia is a great example of a Rushdown character. She has great mobility, some outstanding pressure, and once she's on her toes and you have her backed up, it's very hard for her to get out of it. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep up to date when I post things, why not subscribe and leave a like? It's free. If you want more videos just like this one, check out my Archetype Plus playlist, which I will link below in the description. With that, see you next time, and have a wonderful day. Also, Happy New Year!